need that. So for those of you who I have met and worked with for semesters and semesters, hey, we're back. For those of you who I have not had the chance to meet, maybe you're from out of area, MAT student, something like that. My name is Amanda Priest. I am the person that sent you the relentless email chains of what to do, what not to do, all that. So we are going to go ahead and get started. According to my watch, it's right at 9. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a really full day. I know some of you are thinking, oh, wow, when I sent that agenda. But trust me, this is a great day. You're going to get tons of good information. I think you're going to be pretty inspired to get started for the semester. This is your last semester. This is it. This is your last first day of school at Marshall University. So we're going to commemorate that in a little bit. But just to get started, we have a few words from our dean, Dr. Teresa Eagle.
I thought you were going to say a few words from our sponsor.
Our sponsor.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, that's it. I see lots of smiling faces. I see a couple of backs of heads here. I'm trying not to do that too much. But it is always so exciting for me to get the chance to just say a couple words to you. I'm not going to take up much of your time because I know you have lots more important things to do. But I do want to take just a chance to say a couple of things and encourage you and congratulate you because you made it. You made it. You're at a point where you're getting ready to go out and apply all that stuff that you've learned, be able to go do the things that you've been working toward being able to do for the last several years. And you're probably a little anxious, a little nervous, maybe. Yes? No? Yeah, okay. If you weren't, I would be a little concerned about you because you're getting ready to step off into something brand new. And that always, a little bit of anxiety is good. We don't want to be so anxious we can't move, but you know, just being a little anxious and thinking about it, being excited, that's wonderful too. So, all that I want to say to you today is good luck. We're proud of you. You're going out there and you're representing Marshall University and the College of Education. And that's a really important thing to us because we're very proud of the college and the programs that we provide. And so you're just kind of our shining stars that we put out there as a good example of what we can all do here. So enjoy yourself. You've got a lot of work ahead of you this semester. Not only those TPA things and all that kind of good stuff, but just the lesson plans and getting used to your kids and surviving. Because sometimes there are some days when you're going to think that's all you can do. I would suggest one thing for you. You're going to find sometimes that are really, really tough. And it's really hard to keep that smile on and leave that baggage at the door and all those kind of things that you need to do. And I'm going to challenge you at the end of every day, I want you to rate your day 1 to 10, where 10 is the absolute perfect day that was absolutely wonderful, and 1 made you want to go home and never come back out and go back to the bed and cover yourself up and never do anything again. Just rate yourself every day. Because a lot of times people will say, how was your day? And you say, oh my gosh, I don't think I was ever going to think through it. But what you're going to find is when you look back over a week or a month, or even the whole semester, you're going to find that those positives outweigh the negatives. Because there's always going to be something in some of those individual days that just kind of touch your heart or have a light come on or make you feel like you've achieved something. And it's real easy to let some of the negatives bog you down. So don't let the negatives bog you down. You've got lots of good things to do and you're going to have a great semester. So congratulations on making it this far. Good luck. And I'll be anxious to talk to you again in just a couple of months when we're closing everything out and getting ready to send you on your way to be a fully licensed career teacher. Thank you for the time and have a great day.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a pretty full agenda. I kind of flip-flop what we typically do. We typically do all the things we're doing in the afternoon, in the morning, and then I talk for the afternoon, and that's just, nobody wants to do that. And our people that are coming in the afternoon, they could only come in the afternoon. So we decided to kind of rotate our agenda around. If you'll notice, this is not working. So the bulb is bad. one of our student teachers from last semester actually still works for Marshall. He works in facilities. He is the best, and he came down to check on me, make sure everything was good. And he tried to get it to work, but it's just not happening. So obviously we have 4 screens projecting, so I think we should be fine this morning and for the rest of the day. Please note that everything that you see today, my PowerPoint, any information I give you, Beth Waugh will probably have a really good PowerPoint this afternoon on resumes and things like that. Anything that you see today, I'm going to be sending it out to you. So you're going to get a copy of it, so don't stress about it. I will also note that we are videotaping today because I just love to see and hear myself. We do this just for the simple fact that some of our students are on the job. Either they are MAT students on the job or they have a TIR, or we say something today and then you're like, what did she say? I can't remember. And you can always just go back and watch the video again on that spot. So we will do that with all of our seminars. When we talk about the TPA, it comes in very helpful, trust me. And we will do that today with our orientation. So if you have any questions following, you can always ask. Or you can always just look back. I will give you all of our information for our PLC site. That is going to be your favorite site after this semester's over. I also want to say this. If we are ever talking about something and you have a question, and I know you're like, because there's always people who ask 100 questions. You know this. But ask it. Because it's likely that if you have that question, somebody else in the room has the same question. And I try to cover everything, but sometimes I miss something, and that's okay. So that's just, I want to open with that kind of just opening there just to remember you can always ask. So, all right. So our agenda for today, we're going to go over all of the expectations of this student teaching semester. We're going to go over the professionalism, all different kinds of concepts with that regarding absences, dress code, etc. Then Dr. Lucas and Dr. Watson are probably going to come over and they are going to talk about the TPA. Who has heard of the TPA? Oh, and you've already had nightmares and you've already prayed about it and talked with your preacher about it and everybody else. Listen, let me just say this. Once we get started, it's going to sound like, oh my gosh, you're going to be a little overwhelmed. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. But for the most part, if you just stay on track and stay on task, you're going to be just fine. Then we are also going to talk about your lesson planning and how the evaluations work. Then we're going to have lunch. Today will likely be the last real lunch that you ever have for the rest of your teaching career. Like you are going to get to leave the building and sit down and order food and talk and have a conversation. Because for the rest of your life, you're going to have 30 minutes, but it's really going to be 15. And you got to go to the bathroom at some point, and you're going to stand eating up and making coffee and get things ready. So just be ready. That's your lunch from now on. After lunch, Dr. Mindy Backus is going to come over. She's going to talk about PDS, which is our professional development schools. We do a lot of different things. Most of you are in PDS schools, and you're going to learn a little bit more about that. Beth Waugh from Career Services will be here. She's going to talk about just preparing and using this semester to get hired, basically. Prepare your resume, get things ready. Debbie Smith from Cabell County Schools is going to follow her. She's going to give you a lot of great information about how to really just go ahead and get all of your documentation in order so you can get on their list and get hired. Ms. Holst, Anna Holst, she's going to be here. She's from the Cabell County Reading Council. She's just going to be here for just a few minutes to talk to you about maybe joining the Reading Council. And then we'll have our breakout sessions with our university supervisors. Got it? I know it's a big day. But I think that for the most part, you're going to find it enjoyable. You're going to get a lot of info. You're going to have a lot of questions, and that's okay. And like I said, we can answer whatever we can, and we'll go from there. One thing I just want to say is, we're all adults in here. We all, professional courtesy. I do have my phone laying here. I do have my watch on. I just try to do it just for time purposes. Obviously, if you have an important something happening, a call or something, just step out. But just please try to just give as much attention as you can to whoever's up here. Because I'm not just up here just talking because I like to hear myself talk, because trust me, I don't. Okay? All right. And we will take multiple breaks throughout the day, but if you need to just pop up and run. If you go out this door, and I think to the left maybe is where the restrooms are, I'm not really sure. Just this building is one circle, so you can find them. They're down here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with today. And who knows who this guy is? Everybody knows. Who is that? Kid President. Kid President is pretty cool. Something else you will find about me is that my technology is terrible. I will lose this PowerPoint and I'll have to go back and restart it, and it'll happen 10 times, but just be ready. So this is a good little pep talk, I feel like, just to get us started for the day. I hope that our volume is up. I am not sure, but we're about to find out. I can always pause if I need to. Okay, it's really not probably going to be loud. Watch me try here. Oh, yeah.
It's time to wake up, people.
Okay.
This one goes out to teachers. Teachers and students. It's time to get on learn on. And we got lots to learn too. I don't know it all, but I know a few things. Science. You hear? You take up space, you matter. It's just science, man. Don't be bullied. She's our GA. We can all be awful sometimes. We can all also be awesome. It's time to be more awesome. And that's what it's time for. History. We got studies so we don't repeat. But if history does repeat itself, now I'm going to name my pet dinosaur Reginald. I just hope you believe me. We can't just study history, we gotta make history. And history is made by ordinary people. Ordinary people like you and me. And that guy. The world's greatest thinkers. Confucius, Albert Einstein, Justin Timberlake. They put their pants on one leg at a time, look like me. I put my pants on one leg at a time, like dancing. Yeah. You're gonna be in video though. Like at school, and you gotta show up. You can't just sleep in. You can't be late. And you can't just hang out in the back door, not grow. It's like what Whitman said. No, seriously, read a book, any book except the vampire ones. You wanna change the world? You gotta know that. What if Shakespeare didn't go to school? His plays would be even more confusing. To bake or not to bake? Is that the question? I don't know what the question is. I didn't go to school. Everybody? Help me up to you. I got a question for you. What are you teaching the world? How to be boring? How to make the world sad? No, you're not. You're teaching the world what looks like to be awesome. No matter who you are, somebody's learning from you. Everybody's a teacher and everybody's a student. Look for the awesome. Teachers see things. They see when you're running down the hall. They see when you're passing notes. But they also see the person that we can all become someday. A writer or a speaker or Martin Luther King. Teachers, keep teaching. Students, keep studying. That's not a word. Sorry about that. Here's the teachers that see the awesome. The homework is this. What do you want to teach the world? Do it. Let's make some history together. Because it's simple math. Together, we're clever. Those girls are a little too loud. Is that teacher inspired you? Let them know. This is for teachers everywhere. So share it with them. We gotta make the world awesome. Somebody's learning from you. I'm out. Oh, did you learn all? I'm gone.
Okay, so I just always jot down a few things when that video is playing. And one of the things is I always jot down is you got to show up. You got to show up. You know, Dr. Eagle said you're going to have days that are going to be, she said ones, you're going to have days that are going to be negative zeros. I mean, like so bad. And then you're going to have days that aren't going to be tens, they're going to be hundreds. They're going to be great. So these kids are depending on you, whether they are 5 or whether they are 18. They're depending on you to show up, so you got to show up. You know, we can all be awful, and we can all be awesome. Who feels like they were pretty awful within the last week? Raise your hand. Come on, own it. I was awful. I mean, we all have lives, and we all have like real life stuff happening. But then we're all awesome too. Hey, if you were awesome in the last week, raise your hand. I was awesome. You know? So just be more awesome. Try not to let the awful overtake the awesome. And then the last thing from that video is everybody is a teacher and everybody is a student. And we're going to talk more about that here in just a little bit. But just kind of keep that right here. Okay, so first day of school. Everybody, with the exception of, I think, one person maybe in this room, has been informed of their cooperating teacher, knows who their cooperating teacher is, and should have contacted them. If you have not already contacted your cooperating teacher, you're already behind. So when we take a break, I suggest you go and you get a hold of them. If you've emailed them and you haven't heard back from them, that's okay. Wayne County just started today. Teachers just started back today. Cabell County teachers just started back a few days ago. If you've emailed your teacher, haven't heard back from them, the next step is to call the school. Hey, this is Amanda Priest. I am placed with this person, and I was just trying to make contact with them. Can I leave them a message? Did I say I need to speak to them now? No, because they're busy, okay? Let me just say this. Teachers take students as a professional courtesy. They do not receive any compensation for hosting a student teacher. They do it because they think it's important to have mentors in their classroom. When I was a teacher, I hosted students in my classroom for all clinicals because it was important, because somebody had to host me and I had to learn from them. And so I want you to remember that in 5 years when you're on the job and somebody comes to you and says, hey, can you take a student? Yeah, because somebody took me and they were my mentor. So back to that. Leave a message for them if you haven't heard from them. You need to know what time you need to be there, where you're supposed to park. Do they have a refrigerator? Should you pack your lunch? I know these are all like silly things that we think, but they're also important to us, because what if you show up and you're just assuming you can buy lunch, but you can't, because teachers don't buy lunch there, or they can't buy lunch. Then you're starving for the rest of the day and you're miserable. Don't be miserable. You know, if you plan ahead and know what's going on, then everything should be fine. When you first get there, you're going to check in at the office. If the administrator is in the office, you need to introduce yourself. Do not just beeline into the office, sign in, and say, I'm so-and-so student teacher. And there's the principal standing there. The secretary is probably the first point of contact you'll have. You need to introduce yourself to them. You need to introduce yourself to the administrator. The administrator is in charge of the whole building, and I know I've talked to a few of you, but my husband's an administrator. And he said one of the things that bothers him the most is that if somebody comes into his school and he is standing there and they don't even acknowledge him, it's his school, you know? It would be like walking into President Gilbert's office and not acknowledging President Gilbert here at the university. See what I'm saying? So make sure you make good contact right there. Introduce yourself. The last thing on the slide there is in all caps, bold. Listen and learn. That's your first day of school. You're just going to soak it up. If your teacher needs help, you know, passing out something or getting something together, or ask you to, you know, run something to the office, obviously that's something you should do. But otherwise, I would have a notebook and a pencil out, and I'll be taking notes all day. Okay? Because you're going to learn the schedule that way. You are going to get a feel for certain kids and that might need a little bit of extra attention. You're going to see how the teachers run in their classroom. Okay? All right. Moving on. Does anybody have any questions before we move on from that slide? Okay. All right, so professional contact. Everyone in here has been in a school before because you've had to do multiple clinical experiences, level 1, level 2, some smaller 15-hour clinicals. This is really important. This is important for you. This is important for the school. This is important for us as a college of education. You are expected to conduct yourself professionally at all times. I know you're thinking, well, I do, but there are certain things that we may do that aren't professional that we wouldn't see that unless it was brought to our attention, okay? So one of the things is you are to follow all of the school rules and expectations. That means if it is a school rule, and I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to go ahead and give this little disclaimer. I'm going to tell you all little examples all day long. Little stories, little anecdotes, examples. All of them are real. All of them have happened since September 2014 when I took this job. Okay? So I've had to deal with all of these little examples. And you're going to think, oh my gosh, no, these really did happen. So, school rules and expectations. If one of the school rules, let's say you're at an elementary school, and one of the school rules is kids do not have candy in the hallways, or they don't eat or drink in the hallways. You know, they eat or drink in the cafeteria, and that's it. And you are walking on the hallway just with a sucker in your mouth, just chatting and having a big time, that is unprofessional. And if the teacher doesn't say something to you, or the principal doesn't say something to you, guess who they're going to say it to? Me. And then I'm going to have to say something to you. So just be aware of that. That might be one of the questions that you ask your cooperating teacher before you get started is, hey, is it, because if you'll notice, like I have 2 drinks right now. I have a water and I have an iced coffee. Is it okay if we bring drinks into the building or drinks into the classroom? Is that okay? Because some schools that's not okay. It's just not cool. Other schools, you got your coffee mug, you're just rolling, okay? So just you need to know what is professional and what is expected. With regard to schedules, you are expected to have the schedule that your teacher has, which means this. If your teacher has morning duty, you now have morning duty. If they have after-school duty, you have after-school duty. If they have lunch duty or playground duty or whatever is expected of them, that is expected of you. Now, we do make some exceptions. Let's say your teacher is just one of those teachers and they work till 5 every evening, it doesn't matter. Do we expect you to work till 5 every evening? No, not at all. However, we do not expect when the bell rings at 3:10 for you to have your stuff packed and leave with the kids seated. You see what I'm saying? It's just not professional. So if you have a class here on campus that starts at 4, if you have a job that you're going to right after student teaching, you need to talk to your teacher, you need to make arrangements, but do that in a professional way, not in an, not expecting, just saying, I'm leaving at 3:10 every day because this is what I'm doing, not in a whiny way. Just be professional about it. Just speak to them about it and talk about a schedule. So if you have any questions about that, always ask. The next bullet deals with confidentiality. You've been in schools before. We have talked about confidentiality in classes that you've had. This is a big one. You are going to see things in the school and you are going to be like, oh my gosh. You are going to see Department of Health and Human Resources and CPS come in and interview kids. You're going to see them pull kids out of schools. You're going to see kids that have lice. You are going to see kids who have special needs, kids who have IEPs, kids who have 504 plans, kids whose parents are crazy and come in and throw fits. You're going to see a lot of different stuff. What you see at school stays at school. If you really see something and you feel like you need to talk to somebody and just release and vent and get it out, I am your contact person. Call me. Your university supervisor is also your contact person. You know, sometimes we see things that will bother us and stay with us. Sometimes we'll see things and we'll think, what in the world are they doing? If you walked into a school and you saw a student screaming and flailing and being carried by 2 adults down the hallway and into the office, into a timeout room, what would your first thought be? Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. You may not know that that student has some like severe anger outbursts. They're getting ready to hurt other students. They are in what's called a CPI hold, which everybody in the building's been trained to do, and they are being taken to a timeout room to cool off. Do you see what I'm saying? Our perception of what we might see is usually not the reality. So just always remember that. Never, ever, ever should you leave a school and talk about a student in public. Okay. True story. There is a student in a checkout line at like Walmart or Target talking to another student about their placement. Oh, you're at such and such school with such and such teacher. Oh yeah, I was there last semester. Is so-and-so still in there? Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. They are a mess. They are in trouble every day. They're a handful. I don't know what they're going to do with them. Guess who's checking them out? Grandma of that student. heard both of those students, our students, talking about her grandchild out in public. That did not go over well. Don't go out and talk about your teacher. If you have a question or a problem with your cooperating teacher, talk to me. Because guess what? All teachers know each other. Doesn't matter if you're in Cabell County, Wayne County, whatever. Everybody knows everybody. Administrators, everybody knows everybody. And we had a student who was dogging her cooperating teacher that she had for like her level 2, just dogging her. And guess who her cooperating teacher was for her level 3? That teacher's best friend. She had no idea. So then that causes major problems that I have to handle. Okay? So just remember that, confidentiality. The next bullet says stay positive. As Dr. Eagle has mentioned, as I've mentioned, you're going to have bad days. And you're going to have times where you're thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot do this, or maybe I'm not cut out for this. Stay positive, stay the course. If you need to talk to someone, talk to me, and we will figure it all out. The next one says learning opportunities. Not every placement is an ideal placement. I'll just say that. When I did my student teaching, I did it in a 4th grade classroom, and it was great. I was really nervous. I didn't know the teacher that well. Actually, I didn't really know her at all, and I went in on the first day, and she was just kind of like, whatever you want to do. I mean, she'd been teaching for 30 years. Whatever you want to do, we'll do it. I've moved from 5th to 4th. I'd really like for you to teach some writing. I'd really like for you to teach West Virginia Studies. This and that. Was so good to me, was so open with me. Everything was great. It flew by. And then I went to switch my placement to my kindergarten placement. And I knew this teacher. I knew her like out in the community and that sort of thing. And guess what? I cried every single day for 8 weeks. I got in the car and cried the whole way home. And then I sucked it up and I went back. Because I had to do it exactly how she did it, which is how I would never have done it. And she told me exactly how to teach, and she only let me teach little certain things, and it was terrible. And I did not like it, and it was awful. But you know what I learned from that? That's not how I'm going to teach kindergarten. And guess what job I got the next year? Kindergarten. And I taught it, and it was great, and I had a great year. My point is this. I learned from her. I learned what I didn't want to do, or how I didn't want to behave, or how I didn't want to act, and how I definitely did want to teach my class. So stay positive and just take it as a learning opportunity. Obviously, if you're having major problems, not getting to teach anything at all, it's just not a good situation, you need to talk to us. But on the flip side, I think we're all human, and I think in today's world we tend to, everybody wants everything to be perfect. I do. I want everything to be great and wonderful, but sometimes that's not the case. And so we just have to sort of learn to go with the flow, because you're not going to be in the perfect school with the perfect teacher, with the perfect principal, with the perfect kids ever. Never, ever, ever. So just know that. The very last bullet is one of our most important ones. Social media usage. You're going to be reviewing our professional code of conduct that we have. It's posted online. One of the main things, and it's in all caps, bold, is no cell phones. Teachers use phones for different things in the classroom. Right now, my phone is laying here. It's laying open, just in case I want to push a button and see what time it is. Because sometimes I'll tilt my watch and the clock will come up. That's it. If my kid texts me right now, I'm not going to be like, just a minute, and text them back. If my phone rings, I'm not answering it. Because I'm not scrolling Facebook while we're talking. Do you see what I'm saying? We use phones for different things. A lot of schools have Class Dojo. I can think of a million right off the bat, elementary schools who use that for behavior management, and they may have it on their phone and just use the app to do it. That's great. That's a great idea. There are different things that your phone can be used for. Being on Insta, being on Twitter, those things are not what you've got your phone at school for. Okay. This is my suggestion. First off, just turn it off. I mean, if you feel like you need to carry it in with you and have it in the building, make sure it's off. Make sure the ringer's off. Make sure it's not going to disrupt you. Make sure it's not even going to buzz, because if it buzzes and you hear it, not ding, like just the vibration, you're going to want to go check it, right? Don't get it out. You might get it out at lunch and go through something, check things real quick. But don't get it out during the day unless you're using it for, like I said, for an app you're using in the classroom. Our social media usage is really important, and I'm going to tell you this. You're going to be in classrooms with kids who are in foster care, who are not even allowed to be photographed for the yearbook, let alone you take a class picture and post it on your Facebook, okay? So be extremely, extremely conscious and careful about what you are posting. And I'm going to talk to you about this on a professional level and on a personal level, okay? So professionally, you really shouldn't be posting out of your classroom. I have some great teacher friends who may want to post like a picture of an activity they've done, and they put like the smiley face emojis over all the kids' faces, so you won't be able to see. Everything that they're posting would be positive, obviously. Do not go home after one of those 0 days and type up a big Facebook post about how crappy your day was. Don't put it on Twitter. Don't retweet vague, those vague sayings about, I'm trying to think of one right now, about how you just wish life was better, or you wish your friends listened, or this and that. Don't repost that. And because people automatically go back to, they had a crappy day. Let's say you're friends with your teacher on social media, which I would not recommend, but many of them will want to be. As long as you keep it professional, that's up to you. But you go back to, they might see that post and be like, well, they had a crappy day in my class. I didn't even know. You see where I'm going with all this? So it's a lot easier to send somebody a text or put a post out than it is to have a conversation face to face, it seems like. And that's what's most important. We have to learn to communicate. When it comes to, so do not post about your school. Do not post about your students. Just don't. It'll save us a whole world of trouble. When it comes to your personal social media, I would suggest, and I've told you this at level 2 orientations, and I've told you this at level 1s. First off, you need to make it private. You just do. Because the first thing that middle school and high school students are going to do when they meet you is, what are they going to do? Search you. Because guess what? That's what adults do. That's what we do. I'm teaching Uni 100. I have a peer mentor. First thing I did was look her up on Facebook. It's just human. It's just what we do nowadays. Okay? Because I want to see what she looks like. So lock those down. Do not accept students as friends on social media. Now, let me just back up by saying this. You may be working at a school where some of the kids at your school go to your church, they're in your youth group. We've had this happen every semester. It's fine. Because if you've been their friend that long and you are not posting things you shouldn't be posting, then it shouldn't be a problem. Okay? Because this is where we run into problems. Let me just share. My daughter, who is now here at Marshall, was in the 9th grade. And she's on Insta one day, and she's just scrolling. And I see cleavage and makeup and like this like crazy picture, and this girl is holding a beer. And my daughter is 14 at the time, and, but I'm like, who is that? She's like, oh, that's so-and-so, my math teacher. Okay, I'm a parent. I have never met this teacher before in my life, but guess what I just did? I already know all I need to know about her, and that's not okay on my part, but that's not okay on her part either, because when we are in this profession and in this situation, this is what happens. Raise your hand if you're my friend on social media. It's okay, be honest. Okay. All right, so have you ever seen anything on my social media accounts where you would be like, questioning me, my professionalism, or anything about my person in general? No, because I don't put that stuff out there. Not that I do those kind of things, but I just don't, I don't do it and snap a photo while I'm doing it. Because we have to be careful. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to anything we've talked about? Questions? Yes, sir.
I have been volunteering over at Golden Girls.
Mhm.
One of them go to the Spring Valley High. And they've had problems, because it's a group foster
Right.
for girls. But they've had problems with teachers and stuff like that, tagging them in photographs.
Exactly.
And they have, for a lot of very legal reasons, a need of confidentiality.
Right.
So I wanted to just bring that up, so you don't always know what the situation of a kid is. There might be someone actually looking for them once you that is.
Exactly. And see that, and like that's a perfect example of what I was saying. One time I took my class down. You know how at elementary school they take the class picture in the spring. You take your single picture in the fall, and then they take a spring picture and a class picture in the spring. And I took my whole crew down. I've had these kids all year. It's April. We take the class picture. And I got back to the room, and for some reason, it hit me. So-and-so should not have been in that picture. And so, I'm like, okay, what do I got to do now? Because they're in first grade. Everybody wants to be in the picture. They all know. And so, I had to figure out a way to get her pulled out for like some testing at that moment for the reading teacher. I had to get a hold of the people. We got to take a new picture. You guys scrap that one. You see, and it's just a safety, it's just for the kids, for their sake. So just always remember that. Anybody else? I think I saw another hand. RJ.
So where I moved in, I was moving stuff in, and I realized that some of the kids I had in previous play pools and my neighbors can't really, help that.
Right,
When
and that's
when you have 3 or 4 kids always screaming, "Hey, Mr. Corns, how
right,
are you?"
right.
How would you appropriate that, I guess, to keep it professional?
I mean, obviously, I would not have them over at my apartment or at my house. I wouldn't drink on the porch with them in the weekend. On the weekends, I would just keep it as professional as possible. And so, don't be hanging out. Don't be snapping selfies. Don't be tagging them in funny memes. Just don't do it. 'Cause I know you always like. I'm not. I try to be cool, but I'm really not. I pretend like I am. I really want to be, but I'm not. So that would be the best, solution there.
Right.
Is just to keep it as professional as possible. So, I mean, don't ignore them. Don't be like, guys, I can't talk to you for 8 weeks. So, have a conversation, but just keep it professional. Yes.
You was talking about, like, where we're gonna be at there, we gotta do the duties and stuff like that. Now, does that mean that they could leave us alone and do that, or do they have to be with us to do it?
Okay, we're gonna talk about that a little bit more. That's gonna be one of the things we talk about. It's gonna come up in just a minute.
That's fine.
Okay,
I just figured you mentioned it earlier.
yes.
That's the question that I had.
Okay, let me just jot that down in case. Okay. All right, anybody else? Yes.
Potential employers will also check your, any of your social media, so please clean it up if you need to.
Yeah.
Have things that you embarrass your mom or your grandma with.
Right. And let me just say this. I got a friend who, her daughter's social media account is I am just appalled when I look at it. But she didn't seem to think anything's wrong with it. But there is something wrong with it. So, just really be careful. Like I mentioned, my husband's an administrator. If he gets a list of people who have applied for a job, first thing he'll say is, do you know so-and-so? And I'll be like, oh yeah, or no, or whatever. And then he'll say, or if he doesn't know them, or if I don't know them, we look them up on social media. That's the first thing we do. And I'm telling you all that it's not okay, but that's what people do. And that will give you a real quick, firsthand if somebody is posting a ton of political things on there, if somebody is posting a ton of selfies that are just not cool on there, not enough clothes on or this and that, lots of partying pictures, then that's all I need to know. Okay? Yes?
Just an FYI, Facebook does have a function where you can go into the security and set everything you've already posted to private, so
Perfect.
you don't have to go back to each thing
Oh.
for like the last 10 years and post it individually.
So everybody's right now, okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and no, I'm just kidding. So maybe when we do take a break, you need to do that, okay? All right, this is always a big topic of conversation. But it's important, especially in today's world. So can you think of anything I forgot?
I think they're a little bit confused about if you know somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be friends, but I think you need to give the example of the student that we had in the middle school that,
Okay, that's a good example.
that was a very.
I've forgotten about that. Not I hadn't forgotten.
I mean, I think that will maybe,
Yeah. Okay, so we have this male student who was doing a clinical at a middle school, okay? And while he's there, he's snapping with a female middle school student, okay, middle school, because they knew each other. They knew each other. They were from the same community. They knew each other. But it turned inappropriate real quick. Whether or not he had bad intentions, whether or not she had I don't know. But it was from what I saw and what I was given is not good. And that person is no longer in the College of Education. And we reserve that right. I mean, listen, every semester something pops up that could be considered unprofessional. Let me just also add this. Last semester, we had a student who was working with an after-school club, which that's awesome. And they had been working with this club for a while. This was not like something that just came about during student teaching. And everything seemed to be going good. And they went out of town. The club went out of town, and the student went, and the sponsor went, and there were some parents and things. But it turned into, a female texting a male in the middle of the night about, they're in the hotel rooms, not in the same, obviously the same rooms, but hey, I don't feel well, I really need some Advil. Do you have some Advil? Could you bring me some? It might have been innocent, but I'm just going to tell you, as the mother of a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old daughter, if I have a 22-year-old man texting my daughter, I've got a problem with that. You see what I'm saying? And that might not be PC to say, but that's just how it is. So please protect yourselves. Please, and we go over all of this to protect you, not to protect any, it's to protect the kids, but it's to protect you too. We want to keep everybody on the same page. And let me just add a little, another little thought of this. If you are always posting stuff that's negative, oh my gosh, there is one person I can think of. Everybody got one. Everybody got one on their social media, right? Just one negative. Oh my gosh. Nobody wants to hire that person. And they're going to read that stuff. Nobody wants that person around their culture of their school. Okay? Please be careful. Lock it down. Don't do anything that you think is questionable or could be considered questionable. And if you have a question, get in touch with me. I'll let you know if it's okay or not. All right? Okay. Oh, here's another one. That's the other one everybody was talking. Okay, so dress code. If you'll notice on your email, when I invited you to this orientation, I was very specific because I haven't been in past semesters. I have just said dress is business casual. I have had people showing up in jeans with holes all down the front. I have had people showing up in cut-off shorts, sweatpants, athletic shorts, yoga pants, just whatever they felt like pulling out that morning. Okay? You are going to be in a school. It is professional. When you walk into a school, you should be able to differentiate between a parent that is volunteering or a custodian, and please don't think I'm dogging anybody right now at all, but you should be able to differentiate between that person and the principal. They should not be dressed the same. They should not look the same. They just shouldn't. So students should be able to walk into the classroom and see that you are not a student. Because a lot of you that are in secondary schools, you're young. You look young. You're going to look like one of the kids. You just are. And people should be able to know that you're not a student. Now, if I walked in, they would know I'm not a student. It's just part of the deal. They should be able to know that. So that's where professional dress is really important. We do not expect you to wear stocking, pantyhose, what does Albert say? Hosiery. We do not expect you to wear hosiery and high heels every day. I do not expect you to wear a tie or a suit jacket every day, but I expect you to be professionally dressed. That goes along with being professionally groomed, i.e., and yes, we have to have this conversation, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, shaving, wearing deodorant, nothing of anything else. Your clothes not coming out of the bottom of the wet, dirty clothes hamper. And you shaking them out and just go with them. Okay? That's going to mean you're probably going to have to get up about 15 minutes, maybe earlier than what you really want to. Because you just have to do this. We're all adults now. This is a job. This is a 16-week job interview. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But this is a perfect example for you to show that you're a professional. Let me go back to this though. A couple of semesters ago, I had a PE student, a wellness student. She was teaching elementary PE. And we had a seminar, she came in and she was dressed great. And I complimented her. I was like, gosh, you look good today. And she was like, well, thanks. This is what I wear to school. And I was like, how are you teaching PE in that? She was like, you told us we had to dress professionally. Okay, so let's clarify this. I mean, she had on heels. She looked great. I was like, oh, she hates me then. This was just a couple weeks in. But, you know, if you obviously are in a wellness classroom, you need to be dressed to teach PE or health. That does not mean that you just put on a pair of gym shorts and call it a day. You see what I'm saying? You need to, you know, my husband taught health for a few years. He wore khaki pants, polo, and sneakers. And he looked fine. He looked professional. That was professional for his classroom. So just remember that. It is at the discretion of the university supervisor and the school dress code as to whether, like, certain schools have certain special dress days. I know when I was teaching on Fridays, we were allowed to wear jeans, but we paid $2 and it went into like Relay for Life or something. And we wore jeans and like a school t-shirt, like Wayne Elementary t-shirt. We did not wear jeans that had holes down the front or the back. We did not wear jeans that were so tight nobody could breathe in them. You didn't wear sneakers that looked like you'd like cut the grass in them. You know, we looked professional. You're gonna wear your jeans and look professional. Especially in the winter, you will see me wearing like dark jeans, blazer, cute shoes. This is professional, but I'm freezing and I've got to go back and forth. You see what I'm saying? So it's at the discretion of your university supervisor in the school with regard to the special dress days. This semester, fall semester, we always have Halloween. We always have Spirit Week. Kids love it when you dress up. It's fun. I mean, wear the crazy socks. Dress up like the book character. Dress up like whatever, you know. But please be careful if you are in a middle school or high school that your outfit is not considered like risque or inappropriate. I mean, you are not going to your buddy's Halloween party where you can be sexy Superman and sexy Superwoman. You know what I'm saying? Don't just pull that out and think, oh, I'm going to wear that today. Okay? Be really conscious of that. With regard to tattoos and piercings, this is a rule that has been around BA before Amanda. Tattoos have to be covered up. You're going to be in schools where you see teachers with tattoos. You have to keep them covered. Piercings, we allow ears, and that's it. So if you have any other piercings, you need to talk to me about it, and we can discuss what the options are for that. Last but not least on this page is that your ID badge must be worn at all times. If you walk into my husband's school, he's got his ID badge on. I was at Wayne Middle School over the weekend working as a parent volunteer, and the principals had on their ID badges. You just do, okay? So if a parent walks into the school, they need to be able to identify you as a Marshall University student teacher. If you do not have your clinical ID badge, if you've lost it, if it's, who knows, if it's broken, whatever, the ID office is now in Drinko. It used to be down here, it's not down here. It's in Drinko Library. You need to go over there, I would suggest today, and get a new ID made. Yes?
So for Kanawha County, they gave us our own Kanawha County
Yes.
badge. Do you want us to wear both or Kanawha
I would wear Kanawha County's, but I would keep mine with me. Like, I mean, if you have a sleeve, you know what I'm saying, just have both of them in there. But yeah, Kanawha County is a little different. They have their own orientation, which is great. They have, you know, they give you your own badge, and so you need to definitely have that on. That's what their expectation is, okay? Anybody else? Does anybody have any questions about the professional dress? Okay, so, like I said, on the email, I was very specific about what professional, please wear what you would wear in the classroom. And I will just say, I am thoroughly impressed and happy when I look around today. I have not been in the past. I've been a little miffed, to say the least. So, you know, just always know that. Especially people who are in high schools, they've got to be able to know that you're not a student. Okay? All right. Okay. Attendance policy. Another one. Ugh. All right. You are expected to be at school when there's school. Do not call me, email me, get me over to the side and say, there's a teacher meeting Friday and my teacher said I don't have to come. Because they're just going to be like, they're just going to be doing professional development stuff, or they're just going to be doing this, or they're just going to be doing that, and I don't have to come. You have to come. Do not do me like that, okay? If they're having a professional development and you're not invited, let's say they can only have so many people there and you're not one of them, then you can be doing something else for that teacher. You can be working in that classroom, you can be getting your lesson plans together, you can be working on your TPA, but you're going to be at school. Understood? So that is especially for those meeting days, because one of you is still going to come to me and say, now they said I didn't have to come. I don't care. I said you did. So find something to do, okay? Next thing. Let's say you wake up and you've got the virus. Who in here has ever had the virus before? Oh, yeah. It's bad. And if you've never had it, you're going to have it. You'll have it this semester. Mark my word. Because kids got germs, they have germs all over them. And you're going to forget, and you're going to end up with the virus. 1 month, it was like from March to April, my littlest had it twice, and I had it 4 times. Not even kidding. They came in and bleached my classroom, which they're not supposed to do. Like, that's how bad it was that semester. It was just bad. You're going to have it. So let's say you wake up, and you're like, oh my God, I can't make it from my bed to the bathroom, let alone can I put on clothes and look like a human and get in the car and drive to school. That's going to happen. First thing you got to do is you got to tell your teacher. That's the first point of contact. So you've already communicated with your teacher. Most people like to text. Most do. Shoot them a text. Call them. Whatever you have to do, you have to talk to them and say, I am so sick. I cannot make it today. I am so sorry. Now, what if you were supposed to teach that day? You've been teaching full-time. Teacher's not been teaching. Teacher doesn't know what you're doing. I'm not going to be able to make it today. I'm sick. My lesson plans, which I have already turned in to you, which we will talk about more, are here. The copies are here. This is what we're doing. Because you're the regular teacher in the classroom, not the teacher. So they need to know what the expectations are and what to plan on doing for the day. So you've got to get a hold of them first. Next person you call, get in touch with, is your university supervisor. Because what if they were coming to see you today and they're driving 30 minutes to come see you and then they show up but they don't know you're not there? So you got to let them know, hey, listen, I am sick, I'm not going to make it. Blah, blah, blah. Third person, and this is important, because if you don't do this, you're in trouble, and we don't want anybody to be in trouble. You got to tell me, okay? I'm the third person. Teacher, supervisor, me. Done. You send me an email. Amanda, I am really sick today. I have the virus. I'm not coming to school. I just want you to know. So then what I do is I take that email and I print it and I put it in my little absence folder. Then I also document it on this spreadsheet. Because when the end of the semester rolls around and we have to talk about how many days we've missed and how many days we have to make up, I have it all there. I send you an email. You have missed X amount of days, therefore your last day of student teaching will be this. Okay? If you have the flu, which happened a lot last semester, and you go to the doctor and they write you an excuse, you gotta get it with me. I gotta see the excuse, I've gotta have a copy of it, and then we can have a conversation about how many days, okay, that you're out. I mean, we do not miss school / work, that's what this is, because we don't feel good. I got up this morning, I didn't feel good. Who woke up this morning and thought, God, I do not feel good? Raise your hand, most of you. But I got up and so did you, and we are here, and that is just life. And as you get older, you're going to feel good less and less. But you just got to get up and do it. So not feeling good is not an excuse. If you have a death in the family, you need to get in touch with me. And I know you're going to think, golly, lady, I need to see some sort of obituary, something like that. You can send me a link, do something. I had so many dying grandparents last semester. I'm still not sure about it. And I do not mean to sound heartless at all right now. But if you have some sort of situation like that, I need to know. Okay? I've got to have proof. All right, so you've contacted your teacher, you've contacted the supervisor, and you've contacted me. This also goes for if you are going to be late. Things happen. You have a flat tire or you have car trouble. It happens. For the most part, I will have people text me at night or send me an email and say, Ms. Priest, listen, my battery is dead in my car. I'm working on it. I have to, maybe get it fixed in the morning and then I'll be there. I've let my teacher know. Okay, it's fine. But for the most part, they will send me a message and say, hey, listen, I was able to get a ride, or I was able to take care of that. Because we're all adults now and we have to just deal with things. And so always have a backup plan, okay, for getting there and doing those sort of things. If you're tardy, there is road work right now on 64. Everybody in this room knows that, right? Okay, and that's why when I sent you the email about today and I said we're starting right at 9, the first day of the semester is always a nightmare with parking. They've got the security out there. They're not going to let you pull in this lot. They're not going to let you do this. Just be here on time, okay? We were prepared for that, right? It's fine. Some of you are driving, 20 to 30 minutes to your school. Somebody told me they drove out to their school yesterday just to make sure they knew where it was, to kind of time it, to see what's going on. I would just go ahead and add 5 or 10 minutes. Because school's starting and there's going to be a million buses and parents on the road and that kind of thing. So just go ahead and make sure you are prepared to be there on time. If for some reason something has happened and you are going to be late, just send me an email. Let your teacher know. Let everybody know. We'll work it out. All unexcused absences must be made up at the end of the second placement. This is really important. Everybody starts their first day tomorrow, August 21st, first day of school. The first placement ends on October the 12th, okay? It's on a Friday. You're going to get all this. I'll show you now. But that ends on a Friday. And then the second placement starts on October 15th. That's on a Monday. The second placement starts. And it runs through December 7th. That's everybody's last day. So let's say you had one of those days where you had the virus and you were sick. So you have a day to make up, okay? Then you're going to make up one day. Let's say that you have 2 days to make up. You're going to make up 2 days. You're going to make those up, though, after December 7th. You're not going to, start your second placement late or stay in your first placement a little longer or anything like that. We make all of it up at the end. That just keeps everybody on the same schedule. Was that understood? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that up to this point? Yes?
What date did you say the first placement ended on?
Okay, October the 12th.
Right.
And then the second placement is the 15th, October 15th through December 7th. And you guys will get a calendar with all those dates and it'll be online and you'll see it all. So, yes?
If we have a doctor's appointment during the day and we can't get it scheduled for any other day, do we need to let you know if we're leaving during the day? Okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was going to say. In the past, everybody in here had to take their praxis before they could student teach. But in the past, we had people who were trying to take their praxis during student teaching, during that time frame there, and they wanted an excuse. That's not an excused absence. Doctor's appointments are not excused absences per se. What